Hey guys, Split Second here with another video. Today I bring you my very tired and well-used AR15. It's not really tired in the sense it's wore out, it's just had a busy day at the range. Real quick, this is a M&P Sport II from Smith & Wesson. I bought this gun about a year ago and it has been just awesome. I've had literally one malfunction that was my fault. I tried to shoot too fast for it and it couldn't keep up with my finger. Other than that, and that was a failure to feed. Yes, it was a failure to feed. Truly an awesome gun. I've done a little modifications to it. I've got the extended bayonet lug, which is very hard to find. Because what you'll find is if you try to put a bayonet on the factory bayonet lug on any AR-15 that's a short gas system, you'll see that the distance between such I'm blanking. Connector, bayonet lug adapter, there we go, is not long enough and the bayonet will sit here and it'll rattle. So you want to get an extension like I did and extend it. Anyway, as you can see, the firearm has been cleared prior to video. The sight is not broken, it's just down. These are the factory sights it came with. They work fine. Unfortunately, the shooter that is talking, not so much. Needs a little bit of work. But as far as reliability, I would trust my life to this thing all day long. In my opinion, you cannot really go wrong with any Smith & Wesson. That, you know, is just my opinion. I do have a few of Smith & Wesson's beauties, but and none of them have really given me an issue. But I'm sure there's a couple out there that, you know, that could be a one-off, or you know, that's not everyone's going to have that experience. But as far as mine goes, everything's been perfectly fine. Anyway, the reason why I brought you here today, excuse the rambling, I just wanted to bring you guys along for her cleaning. Most ARs really break down the same way. You got this pin here, a bit over. What you're going to want to do is make sure the gun is not on fire anytime you're messing with it. So we're going to disconnect that. And like I said, I did that for demonstration purposes. This gun is clear, so we know that. So what we're going to do is we're going to push that pin down, and then usually you'll have to pinch it with your fingers. And on a brand new AR-15 that's never been fired, that is going to be really tight. And a lot of these really expensive ARs, it's going to be really tight, so you're going to have to really push in there. And I know somebody that had to get a punch and actually knock that out. And it is what's called captured, so you don't have to worry about that pin falling out. Next, you're going to want to do is release the bolts. And then it will just pop open. Look, she talks, guys. Anyway, you can, from here, you can either do the same exact thing with this and release the upper receiver entirely to get more access, although I don't think it's quite necessary. This is your buffer spring back here. And 223 is really dirty stuff, guys. She's fairly dirty. So what I'll do next is I will actually grab the charging handle, pull out the bolts, lay it down, pull out the charging handle, and now we just have a shell here. And this is where I'll normally put it on my vise, although today I left the grip on. I normally take that off. So we'll see if we can't lock her in. This is a Tipton, the best gun vise. I think it works okay. I wish I could mount it to this table. It'd probably work a little bit better for me. But you'll see it's totally adjustable. It works pretty decent. I do recommend it, especially for the money. It's not really expensive. Take a minute here and get it all adjusted. I do want to take a second and appreciate you guys for taking the time to watch these lame videos. I do appreciate it. God knows I don't make any money from these kinds of things, but it is very nice that you guys tune in. If you guys are interested, I do have an online store. It's called Split Second Firearms that me and my wonderful wife have started, and it's just barely getting off the ground. Right now, I do have ammo available in very limited quantities. Got 9mm, and I do have, of course, 223. So why don't you guys check that out. That ammunition is from Defender as of at the moment I am speaking. Made right here in Rayford, North Carolina. Great people down there, good outfit. So check out my ammo. I've got some novelties and stuff online. Less on that. Next pot. I go ahead and take my bolt, lay her down right here, gently, right? Make a giant mess. I decided to sling that cleaner just to see how far it would fly. Make sure that the aerodynamics on that straw for the can are intact there. So far, so good. I'm trying to put it back together here, jeez. All right, you guys, this is a little tidbit. Don't drop your can of CLP, because apparently the straw will go across the room. All right, now that we got our projectile reconnected to our can, I'm going to show you what I normally do. Cut that last part out, please. Maybe. I don't know. You guys, I hope that gives you some sort of laugh. All right, we're going to spray the bolt down. We're not going to be too worried about, oh, I don't want to use all my lubricant. No, we want to make sure she gets nice and wet here. So, this is CLP. It's Clean Lubricant Protect from Remington. It's just Rem oil, but it's kind of like CLP, Ballistol. I like Ballistol better. This stuff seems kind of oily or watery. More viscous, I guess, but it doesn't, I don't know how I'd say, it just doesn't feel as lubricatey, if that's a word. No, it just doesn't feel like as oily, like it lubricates as well. I know there's a word for that, I just can't think. Been at the range all day. Please excuse me, guys. It is tiring. It is 100,000,000 degrees outside today, so excuse me if I can't talk very well. But yeah, I just don't like that stuff very well. But believe it or not, Ballistol is not something that you can buy just anywhere. I will be offering it on my website in the future. So keep an eye out for that. Ballistol is some great stuff. It's the only thing I've ever used. But like I said, I didn't realize I ran out. She empty. But this stuff is great. It smells good. It wipes away with water. It's not toxic or anything like that. I used it to kind of like WD-40. Anyway, back to the cleaning video. What we're gonna do is we're gonna stick our head in here and all up in the camera. We're gonna spray her down barrel first. Let her start breaking down all that deposits. Kind of get the buffer tube just a little bit. Get all up in the metal contact areas. And I like to also spray it from the barrel end, just to make sure she starts breaking down. And I'll also kind of just lubricate the pins here, lubricate the sides of the rifle, and that's more for rust protection than anything. Now, step number 2, sometimes I'll go in here, get it to where I can work on it a little bit better, get the other side, spray it again, really let that stuff soak down, come back over to the bolt, spray it down again. Now, while we're waiting for that to set in there and get all nice and start breaking down all that carbon, all I'd like to do is grab the lightest. I don't like to use brushes. That's a wire brush, that's way too aggressive. I like to use the softest brush that I have, which is, I think, nylon. Yeah, nylon. And I just kind of break the carbon down as much as possible. Get the back of that firing pin. I don't normally take my firing pin out, but every couple hundred rounds, and she's fairly clean, so I don't really need to do that. But I kind of just break that down. Make sure she's operating correctly, which she is. Get that down. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come and grab our 22 caliber, because 223, as you all know, 5.56 is 22 caliber. We're gonna take our brass rod here. Not that one. No, we are gonna take that one because she's tiny. We'll take that. I'll take it. What in the world is going on here? Oh, there it is. So, and I don't really like to use these brass cleaning rods. Normally on rifles, I do like to use a bore snake. However, and I don't know if it's just the brand of bore snake that I got, but I've come to find that either 223 is just extremely freaking filthy, and it's so filthy that it clogs up the barrel, and you can't get a bore snake in there. And you have to use one of these, or I just got a really crappy bore snake. But I don't have that experience with any other firearm. But what you're gonna wanna do is jam that in there. I use jam liberally, so not so much that it hurts the firearm, but it is gonna be quite hard to get in there, especially if she's really dirty. And just work it in there. And guys, what you don't want to do is ever go in from the muzzle end. What you want to do is just get in there a few times. And what I also like to do is, if it's that hard, just lubricate the crap out of the brush. She went a little easier that time. Now let's see if we can take our bore snake and get in there now that it's kind of cleaner. There it is. Now what I like to do with the bore snakes is I'll take it and lubricate it, spray it down from the brush end, which probably won't come up on the camera too well. Don't mind my head, guys. It's kind of hard to get in here and see what I'm doing. It's probably going to have to come out of the vise to really get in here. So now that's a little cleaner. It's starting to go in a little bit easier. Let's get the bore snake in there. Make sure it doesn't get hung up. Pull it. And now what we're going to do is check our work, hold it up to the light. Oh yeah, she's clean. Now, last thing to do before we get done is take our brush and kind of clean up the breech a little bit. Kind of get inside the mag well just a little bit here. You don't have to. Okay. Then what I normally do is flip her over and take my Q-tip, get all down here, get the gas port nice and clean, and look at how dirty that gets. And that's just off of one magazine, guys. I love the AR15 as much as the next guy. I hate shooting it because it is such a pain in the butt to clean. I mean, look at that thing. It's filthy. Take some more of my cleaner. Kind of get in there a lot. Trying to get away from me. You saw that? I'll work it in there. Go all the nook and crannies. Oh, something to note, guys. The AR15 does not like to be dry. If you don't do this at least every month, if it's just sitting in your gun safe, don't be surprised to have a couple of hang-ups when you go to shoot it. Part of the reason why I've never had any hang-ups is not just because Smith & Wesson is awesome, which they are, in my opinion again. It's also because I keep this thing pretty lubricated. I keep all my rifles pretty lubricated. I think I go a little overboard sometimes, but sometimes I go months in between getting shot, and you just want to make sure that you get everything protected, because rust is the enemy, guys. Rust destroys us all, or just the things that we like. Pretty sure it's just the things we like. It'd be pretty bad if one of us just starts rusting away, wouldn't it? You guys ever had a moment where you wish you had more than one hand, like an octopus? It's one of those times. So guys, a little bit of trivia for you. I'm sure everyone knows this by this time, or at least anybody that's smarter than me. The AR-15 stands for Armalite. The AR in AR-15 stands for Armalite, not assault rifle, depending on, yeah, I mean, despite what some people would have you believe. This gun is extremely fun to shoot. Very little to no recoil, so they're fun to shoot for somebody that's never really handled a firearm, I'd say. Just because of how light they are and how you can put optics and stuff on them. So I mean, you can have it pretty much to where you can't miss, unless you're me, then you can pretty much miss anything. But yeah. All right, so the very next step is to go ahead, flip her back over, and I won't do this a whole lot, so I think, yeah, I'm gonna put the charging handle in, slide the bolt in, and you kind of have to hold this to a degree. There's a trick to it. You just gotta hold it up. Not upside down. Put the bolt in. And now she's in. And then you can just push that pin back in. And what I like to do is keep these things well lubricated. I even lubricate the plastic, believe it or not, because I'm crazy. Actually, I don't just go out of my way to lubricate the plastic. I just kind of want to make sure all the metal is covered, because I have a shotgun where I have a permanent fingerprint on the barrel just until I get around to taking a brush and brushing the rust off, surface rust. Like I say, guys, rust is the enemy. Alright, now she is thoroughly clean. We know the gun is clear, but even though we just cleaned it, we're going to go ahead and work it a few times. Make sure she's plenty clear. Get some oil on her face, or if eyeballs are lubricated. Flip the sights up because they look cool. Just kidding. And then we're going to do a function test. Flip it on fire. Alright, she seems to work. Turn it back. Pull the trigger again. Hold the trigger, make sure it resets. Yep, she's good. So that is how you clean an AR-15.